Did you know that for this movie, it originally began as a television series back in 2020 with plans for the series to air on Disney+. In February of 2024, the series was transformed into a theatrical sequel. So, Moana 2 was a sequel I didn't really want. I guess Disney, all they do is make sequels because they suck at original ideas, so they're just banking all their investments and ideas on a sequel to something that was super successful. It wasn't as good as the first movie, but I will tell you everything I liked about it first and then everything I didn't like about it second. So the first thing I liked about this movie is I like the inclusion involved in this. There are more characters involved in this movie because the first movie was just Moana and Maui, but this time around we got Moana plus 3 other characters from her tribe, a boatmaster, a gardener, and that's a really avid fan of Maui. It was really great to have just extra characters thrown in there. And I might have been reading into this a little bit, but I felt at a couple times in the movie where Moana and the character Maui were together, I felt there was a little bit of chemistry between them. Moana is one of the very few female lead characters who doesn't have a boyfriend, is completely single, and is completely fine with being single and just a super strong, independent woman. But there are times that, like, you know, they could put in a relationship with someone if they wanted to, and I felt like Maui was a pretty good match, honestly. I mean, they seemed to get along really, really well, but, you know, they were just being friends, and she was just being helpful, and he was just there to help her out with whatever she needed. Second thing I liked about this movie was the stakes were a lot bigger this time around. She's earned the respect of her people. She's halfway to where she needs to be. She was able to restore the heart of Te Fiti, but now she has to figure out a way to get all the people who have been cut off from the island together. I liked how she just had a lot more responsibility. She's growing up, she's maturing. You know, the first movie, her responsibilities and the pressure was focused on her saving her family and her people, but now it's like the next level. It's not only saving her people, you know, keeping her people safe, but every tribe is now like under her leadership. And I love the fact that Moana got a little sister in this movie because I think that really added a lot to her just responsibilities and the pressure she's under. Like she's now motivated even more because she has a sister. I love all the interactions and all the scenes with Moana and her little sister. I think they're very wholesome, very pure, very just fun to watch. And the last thing I liked was the animation was as beautiful as the first movie, but there are also some shots included in this movie that were extraordinary. I mean, the amount of work and effort that the animators put into movies like this, it just blows my mind. I mean, it's just like, it looks so realistic, but the fact that it's all just animated, like it's an animated cartoon movie, is very aesthetically pleasing. And just a heads up, I didn't know this, so I actually didn't see this scene, but there is a post-credits scene at the end of the movie, so make sure you sit through the entire credits because there's a post-credit scene that will tie into a potential Moana 3. I didn't know that there was going to be a post-credit scene, and then when I got home and I looked up stuff about the movie, it said there's a post-credit scene. I'm like, how did I miss this? Like, I never sit through Disney movies because they usually never have a post-credit scene. The one time I leave is when they have a post-credit scene, so that was a little frustrating. And then there were a couple things I didn't like about this movie. I felt like obviously it was weaker than the first movie because that's the thing with sequels. The story is usually not as strong the second time around. Like I said, that's what's happening with Disney is these sequels. They're scrambling for good ideas. They're scrambling for something, and you know the stories are whatever they are. And I will say that the music was not very good, unfortunately, because they didn't bring back Lin-Manuel Miranda this time around for some unknown reason. Every single song in the first movie was great, like super catchy, super popular. I don't think there's going to be any songs in this movie that people will really say, oh, that's, you know, a very catchy song, very popular. It's like they were trying to repeat their success, what they had with the first songs. So it was all the same style and rhythm and all that, but it was just missing some magic, and I just think it was missing that Lin-Manuel Miranda magic. And then I felt like there's a little bit of a misdirection in this movie with, I thought the main bad guy of the movie was Matanga, who is that crazy bat lady But it turns out she really wasn't. She was only a tiny part of it. The big bad guy was Nalo, the thunder god or whatever. He was cool. I don't really like when movies do that because it just makes me a little upset when movies throw a misdirect in there because I'm all in on a character like that and then like, oh well, she's not really a bad guy, there's a different bad guy. And then I also was a little let down that she wasn't included in the end because she said to Moana, like, once the curse is broken, you'll see more of me. But what I was hoping was, I was kind of hoping for a little Matanga ending, like, you know, Moana would be able to see her at the end somehow. Just a little closure there, but she didn't show up at the end at all. So I think they kind of wasted that character. But if there is a Moana 3, maybe she'll get a lot more screen time. Maybe she'll get more use. Maybe we'll get to see more about who she is. I still had a fun time. I was definitely the oldest one at the movie. I mean, I'm a kid at heart, so I mean, it's just fun sometimes to just be in that atmosphere where you kind of feel like a kid when you're surrounded by actual kids, but just feeling like a kid again, and I just love feelings like that. It's definitely a family movie to see this weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, so I highly recommend check it out with family and your friends. So for Moana 2, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10 Mudflaps. And remember, leave me a thumbs up and drop in the comments below. Do you think they should make a third Moana movie? See you next time.